bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. In today's video we are going over my 2024 most anticipated releases, what books are on my radar this upcoming year. We are starting off very strong in January. There are so many books I want to read in January. Starting with January 9th, we have The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake coming out. This is the third book and the final book in the Atlas 6 trilogy. We have the Atlas 6, we have the Atlas Paradox, and now we will have the Atlas Complex. Honestly, it is kind of a convoluted series in a way, so I'm just gonna have to go through and reread some things because I know I forgot a lot, and it's probably a great time for me to make an explaining the plot video because I need that as much as I'm sure everybody else needs that. Also coming out on January 9th is The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. This is her latest mystery thriller release. I love Rachel Hawkins and I really love The Wife Upstairs. That is a 5-star thriller to me. I would reread that book. And then I read Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. That was more of a 4-star thriller to me, but I still really enjoyed my time reading it. That brings us to her latest thriller release back in 2023, The Villa. That's what it was called. I was like, I forgot the name. That one I did not love as much. I think I rated it 3 stars. I liked the story and I liked the writing style, but it felt like a fiction book. It didn't feel like a mystery thriller book. The only like mystery thriller aspect to the book I felt like happened off page and it was just kind of glossed over. But hopefully she can redeem herself with The Heiress because I know she has it in her because again, I loved her first 2 mystery thrillers. And then on January 30th, we have 3 books coming out that I want to read, starting with Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. He is the author of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Somebody, and I loved that book so much. I think I rated it 4.5 stars, maybe 5 stars. I just love the writing style. It was a very unique way to tell a story, but I thought he succeeded in the way that he did it. And I just really love when a book is unique and the writing style is unique, and I love kind of that omniscient narrator, or I love when they're talking to the reader because he definitely does that. He kind of like breaks the fourth wall, you know, he's like talking to the reader. It kind of reminds me of Trust of the Emerald Sea, right? That writing style that Brandon Sanderson utilized for that book. It's kind of similar to the way that Benjamin Stevens book was, so I'm very excited to continue on. I will honestly read anything by him now that I read that first book and loved it so much. The next book coming out that day is Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. She is the author of Everybody in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. I think that is the full title of that book. I don't know, it's a long one. Anyway, that book I read earlier this year and absolutely loved it. I rated it 5 stars. I loved it so much that I went and bought a physical copy of it because I've been dying to reread it and annotate it. That book specifically was about a girl that was dealing with anxiety, and I just like related to the anxious thoughts so much, and I feel like I don't always relate to anxious characters in books, but I don't know, something about her thought process, I was like, yes girl, I get you. Everybody thinks you're crazy, but I get you. So this is going to be her latest release that is coming out in 2024, and I don't know what it's about, but just because I love that one book so much and it's so close to my heart, I will be reading this one. And then of course on January 30th, I cannot forget because everybody and their mother will be reading this book on release day, and that is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series. Yes, I'm excited for it. Yes, I'm anticipating it. But have I read the first 2? No. I plan on reading Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood in December, then Sky and Breath in January, and then January 30th we'll be reading Flame and Shadow, you know, because I'm someone, I get FOMO, and I just know the FOMO is gonna be real when this book comes out and I haven't read the other ones and I can't participate in reading this one. And you know what, we're just gonna go on a Crescent City binge, okay? That's what we are doing. Now we are moving on to February, starting off on February 6th with Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And oh my god, you are telling me my favorite romance author is now dabbling in romantasy, and it is a vampire werewolf story? Like, you must be kidding. I am actually obsessed, and I cannot wait to read this book. Like, I don't even care how it turns out. Even if it's bad, I'm gonna love it. Like, I just know it. Even if it turns out to be like a bad romantasy, it's gonna be one of those things where you just love it. Isn't there like a saying like there's no such thing as bad pizza because it's like always enjoyable? Like, I feel like that's Ali Hazelwood. Like, there's never gonna be such thing as a bad Ali Hazelwood book because like even if it's not that great, it's still an Ali Hazelwood book and she just slays. So I loved her first 3 full-length novels. I enjoyed her novellas. I loved her YA debut, and oh my god, she's just killing it. She came out with Love Theoretically and Check and Mate both in 2023. And now she's coming out with a romantasy and then a regular full-length novel in 2024. Like, we stan Allie Hazelwood. The next book comes out February 13th, and that is The Catch by Amy Leah. So this is the third book in her influencer series. The second book I did read, which is X's and O's, and this is the third book of The Catch. And I really loved X's and O's. I think I rated that 4.5 stars. I had such an enjoyable time reading it. The way X's and O's ended, the like act of service that this man did for his love interest had me kicking and screaming. I loved it so much, and that is why I cannot wait to read another one of her books. The next book also comes out February 13th, and that is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and this is a golfer romance. Which, have we seen a golfer romance yet? I mean, we've seen football romances, hockey romances, basketball romances. We haven't really seen too much soccer romance, and we have not seen golf romance. But you know, I am down for it. But this book gives me a little bit of hesitation because I don't know. This is a girl falls first romance. Like, she is his biggest fan. You know, he's like a famous golfer. She is his biggest fan, and I just don't know if I love the girl falls first trope. But if anybody can do it and anybody can make me love it, it would be Tessa Bailey. So you know what? I have reservations. I'm going to put those reservations on the sideline, go in with a clear mind, and hopefully we will love this book. The next book comes out February 20th, and that is End of Story by AJ Finn. So AJ Finn wrote a very popular book, The Woman in the Window, and when I tell you this book is popular, I mean, I thrift for a living. I go to a thrift store pretty much every single day, and when I tell you, not a day goes by that I enter a thrift store where I do not see a copy of The Woman in the Window, whether it be a hardcover, whether it be a paperback or a mass market paperback. I promise you, if you want to read this book, go to your local Goodwill and you will find one. Like, I can guarantee it, to be honest. I have not read that book. Honestly, I don't really have a desire to, like, oh, like the drunk girl sees something, she's an unreliable narrator. Anyway, but this is their latest release, and this one has a very interesting premise to it. So you're following this girl, Nikki, and she gets contacted by this reclusive author who wrote detective stories to basically come write about his past. And there was a time in 1999 where his wife and son were like disappeared or something. I guess she was like, oh, he's the detective. Did he create the perfect crime and get away with it? And then a body appears in the koi pond. And the last book to close out February comes out February 27th, and that is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the start of her new romantasy series. She is the author of The Bridge Kingdom, and that is a book that is on my radar. So many people love it, but this is the first book in her new series, and oh my god, the synopsis for this book is so compelling. It is so good. I must read this book. Following this girl, and she has a drop of goddess's blood within her, which gives her these magical powers, and I guess her husband like outs her to the government, so then they pit her into a fight to the death against the king's son, but that is her love interest in the story, and that's where I just, like, they have to do a fight to the death, but they're falling in love at the same time, and it's a romance and it's a fantasy. It's a romantasy. Like, I'm obsessed. I cannot wait to read this. And also the cover is stunning, so you know what I will be doing February 27th. Now we're moving on to March. Coming out March 5th, we have Finley, Donovan Rolls the Dice by Elle Cosimano. This is the fourth book in the Finley Donovan series. I have all three books in this series up there. I absolutely love the Finley Donovan series, and you know what? So many people did not enjoy the third book, the second and third book. Everyone's like, oh my god, the series went downhill. I loved it. What does that say about me? That's something everybody hates. I don't know, but you know what? I did love it, okay? I liked them going to police academy. I thought it was fun. Yes, it was outlandish and crazy, but like, it was a fun time. You just can't take that book seriously. I do agree that we kind of need to wrap up the storyline and kind of like shift the storyline to something else, because it's kind of getting like, okay, we get it type of thing, you know, we can move on to a different bad guy. But I love the series. I love Finley. I love Vera, and I will be continuing with Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice on March 5th. The next book on my radar in 2024 comes out March 19th, and that is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Amide. And oh my god, this is the author of Ace of Spades, which I absolutely loved. It truly is Gossip Girl Gets Meat Out. You know when you have those books where people will like compare it to two things and you're like, I don't see it? Well, that book, I definitely see it. It also made me fall in love with her writing, her storytelling, and I am so excited for her latest release. So in this book, you're following our main character, Sade, and she has been homeschooled her whole life, but her third year of high school, she ends up going to this boarding school. It's a very prestigious boarding school, and her first night, her roommate disappears, and she's like, what the heck is going on? And some people think she has something to do with it, but then she attracts the attention of the popular girls in school, the unholy trinity. That is what they call their group, and they try to bring her in, and nobody really cares about her roommate's disappearance except for her roommate's best friend, Baz. And then a body is found, and Baz and Sade work together to figure figure out what is going on in this school and what secrets are hiding in the corners. And oh my god, it sounds so good. I can't wait to read it, and I feel like she might be just a new favorite author, especially if I love this one. The next book is Everyone is Watching by Heather Gudenkoff. She is the author of The Overnight Guest, another book I read this year, and oh my god, it was so good. I absolutely loved it. Are you sensing a theme? All of the authors whose books I loved, I'm like, okay, we are reading their newest 2024 releases. The Overnight Guest was amazing. Absolutely loved it. Available on Hoopla. Go check it out because you just won't regret it. It's amazing. This is her latest book, and honestly, the synopsis for this book is even more interesting than that other book, so this has a potential to be even more of a favorite than that book is already one of my favorite mystery thrillers. Anyway, let's get into it. So we have the best friend, the confidant, the senator, the boyfriend, the executive. 5 contestants have been chosen to compete for $10 million on the game show One Lucky Winner. They are secluded in basically this compound. You know how reality shows are, and they're supposed to have all their deepest, darkest secrets boiled to the surface on national TV. But then they realize someone is out for blood. Somebody wants to kill them. What is going on? Who can you trust and who can't you trust? I am so excited, and this one comes out March 26, 2024. The next book coming out March 26 is The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I loved LA for Aunties. I love the sequel for Aunties in a Wedding. I honestly did not even read the synopsis for this book. I'm just like, okay, I'm continuing. Don't care what the synopsis is. Don't care what it says. I'm continuing. I know I'll have a good time, and I just really enjoy Jessie Q. Sutanto's writing. I love all her stories. I even read her YA romance last year, and guess what? I loved it. So the only thing I haven't read by her was her newest release, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, but that is because 2023 was the year of the reading slump that we are overcoming in 2024. But yeah, I do plan on reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers very soon. And this one I will also be reading when it comes out in March. And in April, we're kicking it off with a banger with the reappearance of Rachel Praise by Miss Holly Jackson. And that one is coming out April 2nd. I love a Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, and especially after reading As Good as Dead and knowing how chaotic Miss Holly Jackson gets, I am so excited to read this book. The next book, also coming out April 2nd, is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. It is no secret that I love Abby Jimenez. Part of Your World, 5-star read. Yours truly, I was gonna say the red book. Yours truly, 5-star read. This book, we're hoping for it to be a 5-star read. It's a 5-star prediction. I just love the way Abby Jimenez crafts her romance books. Like, she just like draws you in. She makes you care about the couple, and her main male leads are just so sweet. Like, they're just so sweet and so nice and so heartwarming, and they just melt your heart. Okay, and I listened to both of those via audiobook, so this is the route I will be going for this book as well. I will listen to it via audiobook, and I think it will be a pleasant experience. And again, it is a 5-star prediction. Also coming out April 2nd, because April 2nd is just killing it, we have The Rulebook by Sarah Adams. I read Practice Makes Perfect this year. Absolutely loved it. Rated at 4.5 or 5 stars. Such a fun, enjoyable experience. And so I'm just going to read anything else that Sarah Adams puts out. Okay, so this one says it's a companion story to the viral TikTok sensation, The Cheat Sheet, which I have not read. So it looks like The Cheat Sheet is on my TBR, so I can read that, so then I can read the rule book. Oh my god, I just read the synopsis and it says these people get drunk and get married. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to read it. Haven't had a romance with that premise yet, and oh my, we're excited. Also coming out April 2nd. Oh my god, why are all these books coming out April 2nd? I'm going to be spending so much money on April 2nd. We have Nosy Neighbors by Freya Sampson. She is the author of The Last Chance Library. Really enjoyed it. Rated it 5 stars. She is also the author of The Lost Ticket, which might be one of my all-time favorite books. Absolutely love it. If you want to read a book that does the found family trope the best, like top tier, S tier, read the book The Lost Ticket. Absolutely love it. Rated it 5 stars. I wish I could rate it more stars. And this is going to be her 2024 release, so obviously I'm going to rate it. Do I know what it's about? Not really. I saw Freya Sampson's name and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I will be reading it. And then another auto by author is coming out with a book in April of 2024. This one comes out actually April 24th, I believe, or April 23rd. And that is A Funny Story by Emily Henry. Emily Henry, I do love her, okay? Like, I love Beach Read and I love Book Lovers. Those are 2 5-star reads. I read Book Lovers 2 times. I had a 5-star experience both times. People We Meet on Vacation was more of a 4-star read, and Happy Place, like, it was a 4-star read, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, happy is in the title, and I don't feel like the book is very happy at all. Like, it was okay, right? Like, I love, like, for Emily Henry's books, I would put A Happy Place near the bottom if I was to tier rank all her books, but even it being in the bottom isn't a bad thing, because overall, like, I still really enjoyed it, and her writing style is beautiful. Like, the way she crafts sentences is just, like, out of this world. So I'm very excited to continue on. I'm really hoping that I love this book because it seems to be a pattern for me. Like, love beach read, not people we meet on vacation. Love book lovers, not happy place, but that means we should be on and up, and we should love A Funny Story by Emily Henry. When I say like down, like I'm not actually saying like boo it sucks, like no, I still enjoy them, but just like not as much as those other ones. Moving on to May, and coming out May 9th, that is the only book we're going to be talking about for this month, is How to Age Disgracefully by Claire Pooley. She is the author of Iona's Iverson's Rules for Commuting, which is a book that I loved. I rated it 4 stars. It's very similar to The Lost Ticket, but it was a 4-star and The Lost Ticket was a 5-star. But still, great found family trope, and I'm very excited to continue on. I love authors who just write those found family tropes and they do it well. Hopefully it's the same thing for this one. Again, I didn't even read the synopsis. If I like you as an author, I'm just willing to read anything without reading the synopsis. Now we are moving on to June, which has a lot of books I want to read, starting with Daydream by Hannah Grace. It's so funny because I own Icebreaker, have not read it. Wildfire was on my 2023 second half of the year most anticipated releases, and now she's also going to be showing up on another anticipated releases videos, even though I have never read one of her books. But you know what? Her synopsises, they just kill it, okay? And I want to read her books. So we have Daydream, and the reason I want to read this book is because it is about like an athlete and a tutor falling in love. And you know what? That was the premise for, I have the book right there, what is it called? Playing Hard to Get by Monica Murphy. And that book was a 5-star book. Absolutely loved it. And this has a very similar premise, which is why I think I will really enjoy this one. Coming out June 11th is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Need I say more? We all know that I love Ali Hazelwood. So like obviously this book is going to show up on my most anticipated releases list for 2024. The next book also comes out June 11th, and that is The Romcomers by Catherine Center. I read The Bodyguard by this author. Absolutely loved it. Rated it 5 stars. I did not read Hello Stranger because I didn't love the premise of that book. It seems like a more emotional romance, not something I really connected with. But this one seems to be a more lighthearted romance again. I know she writes kind of more emotional books, and I remember listening to a podcast where she said The Bodyguard was supposed to be just like a fun, lighthearted time. In the midst of the chaos of 2020, she wanted something that didn't have anything sad, just something that would uplift people, and I loved that. And then I think she went back to more emotional, but now she's coming back to more happy, and we love to support the happy. Basically, you're following this girl who writes rom-coms, like she writes the screenplays for them, and she gets teamed up to work with this guy who's also writing a rom-com, but like his script is terrible, and he honestly doesn't even care about writing the rom-com script because he's just like kind of trying to make it terrible so that another one of his movies will get greenlighted. And he's like, I don't believe in love, and she's like, what do you mean? And then they fall in love, and I feel like it's gonna be very cute. And the last book coming out on June 11th, because June 11th is just another one of those days where everything great is coming out, is Swan Song by Ellen Hilderbrand. I incorrectly said in one of my one of my previous videos that the 5-star weekend was Ellen Hilderbrand's last book, that she was retiring, but that was incorrect. This book, Swan Song, it even says it in the synopsis, this one is actually her last book, and then she is retiring from writing, and we will all be sad because she is truly the queen of beach reads, and I love all her books. I really love to listen to them via audiobook though. I think that is like my most enjoyable experience for her stories, but I don't know what it's about. I don't care what it's about. I will be reading it because I love Ellen Hilderbrand so much. She has amazing stories. This will probably be, I think, my 10th or 11th book that I've read by her, so that'll be a fun time, and I'm really sad that she is retiring. It's like you want to read the book, but you don't want to read the book because you know it's her last one. The next book coming out June 18th is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, and Riley Sager is just like an auto read author for me. I need to stop saying auto buy. We're gonna change to auto read because like I'm not saying I'm gonna be reading like all these books physically. Some of them I will definitely be reading via audiobook. Anyway, I'll read anything Riley Sager puts out. I've always had a pleasant experience with this book. My least favorite book by Riley Sager was a 3-star book, and it was an enjoyable 3-star experience. So like I have nothing negative to say. I will read anything he puts out. Even when I don't love the synopsises of his books, I end up really enjoying the book itself. So, you know, I don't even care about the synopsis. The cover is cool. I know I like him as an author, so very excited for this to come out June 18th. The next book, honestly, I have no idea when it comes out. Barnes & Noble says this is coming out in June. Goodreads, it says it's coming out in March. I ordered this book, like I pre-ordered this book. It was supposed to come out in December, and they keep pushing back the release date. So honestly, I have no idea when this is actually coming out, but it is Bloodguard by CC Robson. It is a romantasy. I'm not really 100% sure what it is about, but I do know The cover is stunning. The sprayed edges are stunning. And I kind of bought it in my Fourth Wing hype because this is by the same publisher that published Fourth Wing. And so I was like, oh, obviously I'm going to love it because it has sprayed edges. It's by the same publishing company. And, you know, it just, that was my reasoning for pre-ordering it, and it keeps getting pushed back, but we will get it in 2024 at some point, and we will read it in 2024 at some point. Moving on to July, we have The Hollywood Assistant by May Cobb. This does not have a cover yet, but I have read 2 mystery thrillers by May Cobb, and she is just chaotic and fun, and I really enjoy her mystery thrillers. I have not read her 2023 release, A Likeable Woman, but I do plan on doing it. I'll probably do it before her 2024 release comes out, but the books I did read by her was The Hunting Wives and My Summer Darlings, and both of them were crazy, chaotic, and fun, and I will be reading anything else that she puts out. Coming back to Miss Tessa Bailey, she's coming out with another book on July 16th, and that is The Au Pair Affair. Again, by Tessa Bailey. This is going to be a hockey romance. We're finally going to get the queen of romance writing a hockey romance. Like, the time has come. We can all rejoice, and this comes out July 16th. I will pretty much still read anything she puts out because I love her as a person. I follow her on TikTok, and she is just such a fun person. Like, I just want to support her. Like, I want to buy her stuff. I want to show my support because I just love her as a person. So, you know, it helps when you love the author as a person. So if you're an author and you're on TikTok and I love you as a person, I will buy all your books. Another book coming out in July that has no cover, comes out July 30th, is A Look in the Mirror by Catherine Steadman. She is the author of The Family Game, a book that I read and loved, rated 5 stars. It is one of my favorite mystery thrillers I have read. So of course I'm going to read anything else this author puts out. July 30th is another one of those days. There's 2 more releases that I'm looking forward to. The first one being The Grandest Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 5th book in the Inheritance Games series. Thought it was going to be a trilogy, now it's a series. I like the premise of this one more than I like the premise of the 4th book because now you have billionaire Avery Grams, right? And I guess she's going to be hosting this competition on this island, and whoever wins the competition gets a certain amount of money. So I think you're really following the players. So it's going to be new characters coming, doing these things, and then we have our old characters kind of in the background, but I don't think they are the focus. If I was to read the synopsis of this and it was similar to the Brothers Hawthorne, I feel like I would have not put it on this list, but because again I felt like it was kind of evolving and more interesting, we're introducing new people. Now I'm back interested in this series again. Okay, I messed up. This book doesn't come out July 30th, it comes out July 4th, and that is Such Charming Lies by Carrick M. McManus. Of course, she is the author of One of Us is Lying, one of the biggest YA mystery thrillers. I read part of the book. I DNF'd it, not for a negative reason, but because someone spoiled it for me and I got mad and I was like, well, there is no point in me continuing on. But I am very excited to read her latest release. I did read another book by her, The Cousins, which I enjoyed. I rated it 3 stars, but it was like a pleasant 3-star experience. For me, 3 stars can go either way, pleasant or unpleasant. The Cousins was a pleasant 3-star experience. This one has a very interesting premise to it. In this book, you're following these 2 teenagers. They were step siblings. They got a divorce. They never continued talking to each other, but both the parents were liars and scammers and thieves, and so they taught their kids to be liars and scammers and thieves. So she goes to this billionaire's party to steal something, and she runs into her mom's ex with the stepson, and they're also there to do some scamming and stealing, and she is like, oh my god. But then there's a body, and they were like, oh my god, we might be in the murderer's crosshairs, something is going on. Sounds like a fun time. I don't know, I just really love YA mystery thrillers. I don't know why, I just do. I can't really read a YA romance anymore. YA fiction doesn't do it for me, but YA fantasy, YA mystery thriller, I am there for them. The next book comes out August 6th. There is no cover and very little information, but it is by Talia Hibbert, and it is called Brier. And it says, a new series of contemporary Austen-inspired rom-coms from the brilliant Talia Hibbert. And that is all we know. I have not read the Get a Life Chloe Brown trilogy at all, but I feel like I would like it. I did read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute in January, and oh my god, that YA romance, I rated 5 stars. I want to read her newest release, coming out August 6th, even though there is no information about it. Another book coming out August 6th, it does have a synopsis, but it has no cover, and it is called The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I honestly didn't even read though the synopsis. Oh, it says 2 bisexual exes accidentally book the same European food and wine tour and challenge each other to go on an international hookup competition to prove they're over each other. And they are over each other, right? Okay, we're obsessed. We love that. Was the first time I read the synopsis. I was like, oh, we're just adding it to the list because it's Casey McQuiston. and I'm glad I did because that synopsis is everything, and that one comes out August 6th. Another book coming out August 6th with no information, not even a brief synopsis, but it is called Death at Morning House by Maureen Johnson, the author of the Truly Devious series that I love, and this has no information, but I know I love Maureen Johnson, so this one is getting added to my most anticipated releases of 2024. And then coming out August 20th, we have Wisteria by Adeline Grace. Love Belladonna. Haven't read Foxglove. It's been on the TBR for way too long because I planned on reading it on release day. It is now December 7th. Has not been read yet, but there is plans to read it. So I'm assuming I'm gonna love it because I love Belladonna, which means if I love Foxglove, this will be an anticipated release because we will be reading it August 6th, August 20th when it comes out. Another book, no cover, no description, and that is You Will Never Be Me by Jessie Q. Sutanto. And this one is set to come out August 20th, 2024. And as we have established already in this video, I love Jessie Q. Sutanto. So no cover, no description, but it is an anticipated release and I will definitely be reading it. And the last book that is coming out, and that is coming out October 15th, and that is The Wedding Wish by Erin Sterling, which is a pen name for Rachel Hawkins. So Rachel Hawkins also has 2 books coming out in 2024. This is a part of her witchy rom-com series. I don't know what the name of the overarching series is. What I do know is the first book in that series, The Ex-Hex, no. I just say skip it, okay? I rated it 2 stars, skip it. But the second book in the series, The Kiss Curse, oh my god, that book gave me all the feels, all like the giggles and the kicking my feet and like, oh my god, obsessed with it. That book I rated 5 stars, so I'm very excited to continue on in the series. The town that is in this book just gives you all the cozy vibes, all the Halloween vibes, and just, I highly recommend, just start the second book and then read this new release, but skip the first one, okay? Those are my recommendations. Those are all the books that I am looking forward to in 2024. I'm sure I will do an updated video of this in 2024, probably around mid-year when we get more releases announced, but these are all the books that have been announced so far that I am very interested in and that I will definitely be reading, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! All these